We humans live on the extremes. And I mean, there's just so many different ways to name this. Like, what extremes I'm talking about. In terms of extremes, it's, for the most part, if not always, going to be something with two sides. Like a coin. Heads or tails. Order and chaos. Light and darkness. Good and evil. Yin and yang. It's a theme that is carried out in thousands and thousands of years of history. And I mean, it's ever present. Like, for example, you have a cookie jar. You have cookies in a cookie jar. Right? You have three options. You can not eat any whatsoever. Eat all of them. Or to just eat one of them and then put the rest away. The thing is, it is the most difficult to do that last option. It is much easier to either not eat any or eat all of them than to just eat one and then put the rest away. It's an open loop. It's like you're not finishing something. You hunger to finish it, but no. I'm sure you've experienced things similar. Perhaps not cookies in the cookie jar, but things that involve an open loop. And therefore, extremes. So, from this example, we can see that the most difficult thing to do is to walk this narrow tightrope between the two extremes. Narrow tightrope between good and chaos, not good, order and chaos, good and evil, yin and yang, whatever you want to call it. And Nietzsche calls this person the Übermensch, or Superman. And with this, it's a stereotypical cliche of balance. Balancing between the two extremes. But it's true. And that's the reason it's a cliche, because it is so true. And it is the hardest thing you can achieve. It is the hardest thing you can do. Given that it's so hard, besides the achievement and a sense of accomplishment that you get from it, why should you even do it? Why should you even try to walk in this tightrope? Well, if we take good and evil, for an example, being only good is a falsehood. You're being naive. You don't know about evil. You haven't experienced evil. You don't know that you yourself could be evil. Which is terribly bad, because you have so much capacity for evil. And what you need to do is you need to recognize that. You need to take a step into the abyss and stare into it and see what you could do. See that you would be a Nazi. You need to see that part of yourself. Because there will be a day when that part of you is forced out of you, and you'll be so shocked and terrified that you will not know what is happening. You need to know that part of you. And while knowing that you have the capacity for both good and evil, that makes you complete. That makes you whole. And through knowing these two, you can choose which of the two you want to pursue at a given time. But you can't do that if you aren't walking in between the two. Because if you're only in good, you can only do good. If you're only in evil, you can only do evil. But if you're in the middle, you can choose. You can choose between the two.
Recording in progress.
You may not get to the ultimate level of being able to choose fully, but you can at least influence them, and that is better than having no control whatsoever. And so Nietzsche says that there are three types of people. The person who believes in predestined fate and therefore leaves responsibility to the universe. So this is one side. Other person believes in free will, that fate is not predestined, and thus that person takes full responsibility. So you can think of this person who believes in free will as good, because they can take responsibility and do everything. Or actually rather this side is the brave, this side is the naive, and then there's the middle, the Ubermensch, who believes that everyone has a fate, but he does the most good with that fate. The in-between. The two sides lack the nuance, which is why the Ubermensch triumphs over both. Strive to be the Ubermensch, to be the person who walks the tightrope, to see the capacity that you have for both good and evil, so that you can influence and perhaps even choose what you want to pursue.